I'm going to introduce Tom Nichols, who we're spotlighting this month. Every month we spotlight one of the members to tell us about what they're doing, what they've done, just a short segment. So this is Tom Nichols.
Thank you. Well, I've been writing for a long time, and as I was just making some notes to get ready to come down here this morning, I've actually been writing for either 53 or 54 years. I didn't realize that. I didn't know I was that old. But my writing career actually started when I became a cop. And I was a cop for 50 years. And I had every job you could ever imagine, plus I had every job you've never heard of. Starting out as an assistant jailer, that's the lowest that you could possibly be in the hierarchy. It's the worst job in the world, up to chief of police, and everything in between. But what that amounted to was I did get a lot of experience and saw the inside of a lot of things that I knew about but didn't really know about. I got to do a lot of things, meet a lot of people, did a lot of traveling, and one of the bright spots, I had many bright spots, you also have your bad days too, but that as I rose in ranks over those 50 years, all these different assignments, from narcotics, organized crime, budget, administration, planning and research, policy development, patrol. I was just doing everything. And in the process, worked with 2 or 3 different chiefs. And somehow or other, I was identified as a guy who liked to write, which is true. I've always enjoyed it. So I ended up writing a lot of research papers. I would conduct research myself, sometimes staying in town, sometimes traveling around the country, different universities, different cities, different counties, doing research, conducting research projects myself with a couple of other people that I worked with. I wrote papers, I wrote newspaper articles, I wrote magazine articles. I have no idea how much I wrote, other hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of published papers. I guess we don't even count those really now. I'm talking about being a published author. Well, I was a published author when I was about 33 or 34 years old. I didn't realize it at the time. But by and by, after 50 years of policing, I did what we euphemistically call, I pulled the pin. I retired. And I had all these stories up here. Millions and millions and millions of stories. And so I really just kicked back and retired for about 6 months. And then I had to get to work, and I thought, I've got stories to tell. And so the first story I told was a book called Color of the Prism. And this was just like magic. I had no idea. I still don't know what I'm doing, writing books and selling books. But I had a great success with that. One day I just got a call from a man I'd never heard of before. He said he's interested in my book, and could I come to California and sent him an invitation to one of these beautiful Hollywood Hills parties on a Sunday afternoon. Really nice. And I was the only author there. There were 50 people. One author, 49 movie directors and executives. And this was like, what the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. And they were in line. And I stood outside by the pool. My wife just kept stepping up, and ICE coming to me, interviewing people. And they just kept a steady coming all afternoon. And at the end, the owner of the place said, nice to meet you, Mr. Nichols, good luck. He shook my hand and led me to the door and out. And I thought, oh. But I did feel good about it. And a couple weeks later, just in my office, had a call, and the secretary said, Mr. Tarantino wants to talk to you. Well, I'm one, he's kind of a crazy guy. Yeah. So anyway, I sold my movie rights to Tarantino Productions. Traveled all over the United States with that book. Meeting with people from New York City to Las Vegas to San Diego, Hollywood, book 2 or 3 different times. Bottom line is, it never made the movie. But we also made a pretty good bit of money out of it. And so I found out I do enjoy writing. I really do. And so I really started telling stories. And these are stories that I live. Every book I write is that close to the truth. Go to the prison, I had to have an attorney go through it with me, because I was really hitting close to the nail on the head on who was who, but I had to keep it fictitious for liability purposes. And so everything I write is something either I did, or my troops did, or I was involved with one way or the other. Then to add to that, my wife, I've been fortunate enough, been blessed that we're able to travel. And so if I've got a book set in the Mideast, we've been to the Mideast a couple of times, been to Russia twice. We've traveled all of Eastern, Western Europe, Scotland, Ireland, all over the United States. And so those are all research trips. You might think it's a vacation. It's not a vacation. It's a research trip. I was a writer and she's the editor. So, there's a percentage of that that's tax deductible. And so that's what goes into my books. So as we stand here right now, I've got 8 or 9 books published, and I have another one coming out working with KJ here in the next few months. And my current project is probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I had no idea what I was doing. If I knew what I was going to do, I would never have done it. But I had one book that I really wanted to write. It was a Christian novel. I'm writing murder, robbery, maybe, and so forth. One of them good about the good guys. And that was in my early writing career. I never liked that book. I thought, it's hollow, it's shallow. So I decided here after about 12, 13, 14 months ago, I liked the story of the book. So I thought, I'm going to rewrite it. Oh my gosh. Never do that. It's so hard to rewrite. But anyway, and some of you have been critiquing it, and so it's we're down to the last 3 chapters right now, and I think I will have them done in 3 weeks. So part of what I do though with our little tricks about writing, called the tricks, my style of writing, is number one, I've either done it myself, or I've worked with this person, that person, and we did it together, or I just go there and learn it. I went to Moscow. When I went to Moscow, one day I said, I'm just going to take off by myself. I don't speak Russian. But you learn when you're walking and you just doing things. But when you get home and I go to write, and you may think I'm really stupid, but it takes a lot of time. And I've developed the storyline and the characters. And generally you don't have 3 or 4 primary characters, maybe 5. I want to see them. And so I go to IMDb files on the computer. And I have a mental picture of what I want Hector to look like. I'm going to go through 100 guys, and I'll find one. That would be Hector. I print him out. I do that with all my main characters. Then when I'm writing, if this is a Hector scene, Hector's posted up right here next to the computer. So I visualize Hector or Anita or whoever it is doing that. And then along the same lines, something I like to do is I broaden my reading style, or my reading types of what I want to read. I read very few mysteries, although I do read some Daniel Silva's, Stig Larsson, but I read Zane Grey, Larry Murtry, different ones. Get a broad taste of writing. I think Zane Grey actually is my favorite writer. I think he can present a scene like nobody else can present a scene. So I love writing. So my next venture is to finish up the book that was entitled The Third Dawn, referring to the resurrection of the third dawn. And that's my biblical novel. And that may be my last book. I'm coming up on my 84th birthday. It takes a while to write a book, and sometime I may just want to play golf. So if you have any questions, how I write, why I write, with whom I write, financial thought. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I was just going to say, I'm glad that you didn't know how hard that was going to be to figure out that word. Because I'm in Tom's critique group, and I've been reading this revision, this rewrite thing he's been doing, and I know it's been difficult, but it's totally worth it. It's a beautiful book.
Thank you.